What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Downtime with Downstar, episode 85. And today we have a couple first. This is the first time we're doing a Skype podcast. So thank you for being on. Today's guest is Reid Lunde from KStuned, Kaizenspeed.
Yes, sir.
Did I pronounce it right?
You did.
Kaizenspeed.
Bravo. Kaizenspeed.
Kaizenspeed.
The Japanese philosophy of continuous improvement.
There you go. Is that what it means?
That's what Kaizen represents. Yeah.
Rock and roll, dude. There goes one question off the list. But today is another special because today is your special day.
Oh, it is.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you, sir.
How are you celebrating tonight?
I'm gonna go tune a car when we're done with this podcast, and then probably just work on product development the rest of the day. It's gonna be the best day ever.
So you're always working, bro.
Yes, sir.
So for everybody listening right now, if you can give them a quick rundown of what you guys do at KStuned, Kaizenspeed.
Sure.
What do you prefer?
So we've got two brands.
Oh,
we've
okay.
We've got a domestic brand and an import brand. So we've got two websites, two Instagrams, two YouTube channels. Yeah. So two completely separate brands that service different markets, you know?
Oh, sweet. Okay.
So KStuned, Kaizenspeed KStuned has been, what it started at 15 years ago.
Wow.
And, we were H series heads where we still are, where we develop products just for the H and F series.
Gotcha.
And then about 5 years ago, we were looking for new markets. We played with the BMW 335 market for a couple of months. About a year and a half. I bought a 335 twin turbo, developed a single turbo manifold, and was working on a kit. Yada, yada, that didn't work out. Not a lot of interest there. And so we jumped into the GM thing in 2014. I bought a C6 Z06, and the rest is history. We've been tuning GM stuff ever since.
Nice, man. So you say you started KStuned in 15 years ago.
Fuck yeah.
That's crazy,
pretty much.
Man.
So it was, in high school, I had so I actually went to auctions looking for an EG SI, like the rare, like single cam VTEC sunroof, like, not a DX, but like really looking for an SI. Couldn't find one. Ended up with the Prelude, and the rest is history. Like at that time, that was 2000 that was in the year 2000. And there was not a lot of, like our first product was the balance shaft Eliminator kit. There was some people talking about doing it, but nobody had really developed a kit to do it.
Yeah.
And that was our first product, the balance shaft Eliminator kit in like 2003. And then, I've just been developing products for the H series ever since.
So how did you get to that point where you were even looking for a Honda? How'd you get into Hondas?
Oh man, just this is 99 or 2000. Like that was that just represented everything to me. Like freedom, kind of the fix that I needed for adrenaline, and it kind of also. I don't know, it satisfied me like mentally because there were so many things that I could figure out. Like I could swap this engine and this engine, and I was watching all the Hasport stuff, and they had engine mount kits, and then they had wiring harness stuff, and I remember that used to blow my mind. You know?
So what made you get into into Hondas besides anything else?
Honda instead of something else, just because that's what was going on at the time. Like those were the cars that were making power. Like Papadakis was doing crazy things, and in 99 and 2000, and that was just the brand that was doing it.
And back then you were still in Washington?
Still am. Yep, same place.
So where would you get your information about Hondas back then before the internet?
Dude,
and in Washington too.
We just got electricity up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
It's pretty exciting. Yeah, just turned the fire off about an hour ago. So
the barrel with the fire inside.
Yeah, now we got electricity and everything. Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
But that was even before the internet was really that popular. Social media wasn't around.
Do you remember Super Honda?
Dude, I got into Hondas in about 2007, 2008. So everything
Oh,
before that, yeah, dude, I just have secondhand information on it all.
so Super Honda was before Honda Tech, and like that's where everything was. Everything was on superhonda.com. It's kind of like MySpace. Like
Hmm.
Super Honda was like, it just went away.
Yeah.
So that's where we got all our information back then. Yeah.
Okay, so before you were even driving, tell us a little bit about your upbringing.
Hmm. I mean, I don't come from a car family.
Uh-huh.
I just, I think that's what I liked about it. Is it represented like my thing?
Yeah.
It was for me.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, like playing football for my dad or anything. You know what I mean? It was just what I wanted to do. And
Yeah.
it was, so yeah, I just dove in head first. Like I never got into like partying and drinking and drugs and, whatever other high school kids were doing. I don't know. I was, I just, I always found my happy place with car stuff,
At
figuring it out
Yeah.
is what's interesting to me.
Just like a very early age, you were just in love with cars.
I don't know. I was doing RC cars. I don't know that it's necessarily cars. It's just figuring things out.
Got you.
It's just like being creative and designing things. And dude, I've been a entrepreneur, I guess you could say, from the beginning. Like I haven't had a job since I was 19.
Really?
I've
Wow.
I've worked for myself since I was 19. Like fully, like to support my whole lifestyle. And even when I was in 7th grade, man, I had a skateboard wax company called Good Fishy Earwax.
Good fishy earwax?
Yeah, man. And
How
when I
did
was
that
in
name come up?
fuck, who knows, man? Who knows? I mean, back then it was Ed Templeton. Like a lot of weird kind of skateboarding culture was going on, and so yeah, man, I had a skate wax company, and I had like learned how to make like origami boxes, so
Uh-huh.
I could fold up like a piece of paper into like an origami box, and I put my skate wax inside it, and I printed it on like neon paper, and like I sold it in skate shops when I was
No
12.
shit.
You know what I mean? I made like a whopping, probably $20 over the life of the company. But, I used to melt paraffin wax into an orange juice container, and I would grind up pencil lead because graphite is like a lubricant,
Uh-huh.
and I would sprinkle that in the wax, and then the bottom layer of the bar of wax would be like graphite infused, and so it worked really good on like curbs.
Uh-huh.
And then the top half of the wax where the graphite kind of wasn't would be better for like rails or things like that.
So it
But
was like
yeah,
a double use.
yeah, man, I still feel like that's a good idea. I kind of want my son or maybe I'll get back into it and reintroduce Good Fishy earwax.
Dude, that's crazy, bro. So at an early age, you just knew that you were a creative person and you can hustle, or
I guess, man, I was born this way. I don't know. I don't know. That's just how it came to be.
yeah.
I just been doing it for, yeah, I guess that's just who I am.
It seems like that's a common occurrence with a certain type of person, like a hustler, entrepreneur. It's like they're just born with it. You kind of think differently about situations, and you look at everything in a different light.
Don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Like you're a creative guy. Tell me about your stuff. Do you have the same kind of situation? I feel like
Oh yeah,
I love
dude.
that. I love that yearbook picture where you got like the Carl's Jr.
Yeah,
star.
yeah,
And
yeah. Yeah, dude,
I
that was
I
even
don't
back
know.
in those days. I was selling CDs. That was before everybody had the capability to burn their own CDs. Not everyone had their own computer or even knew how to get the music or what have you. So
Yeah.
I figured out where to get it and how to burn it. And then I don't know how it clicked, but I just was like, okay, I'm gonna start selling this. You know what it was? It was when Eminem came out, Marshall Mathers LP. I had a buddy who had the CD probably like a month early, and he was selling
Oh.
them. So he would give me some, I would sell them, and I would make maybe a couple bucks off of them or whatever.
Uh huh.
So then after that, it was probably around the same time that I decided that I was just gonna start selling CDs myself. So I've been in love with music ever since a child. So I had a whole collection of music already ready to go, just my personal use. So I
Uh-huh.
ended up just making a list of it on the computer and passing it out at school. And people would say, "Hey, I want this CD. I want that." I would even pass it to teachers, and they would want Led Zeppelin or whatever. And I would
Yeah.
take their order down. I would go home, make the copy, and then come the next day, and then I would make the money. It was $4 a CD, and every day I was selling maybe like 3 or 4 CDs. So as a kid,
Is
like
that
that's good money.
Oh, for sure. Well,
Yeah.
that's what Downstar was then? Like,
Yeah, that's what it was. So
yeah.
back in the day, I was into skateboarding heavy, and one of my favorite companies was that skate company Darkstar. So,
Okay.
are you familiar with Darkstar?
I'm
Okay,
not.
so Darkstar, they have a really dope logo. It's kind of like a medieval kind of dude, and he has shoulder pads with spikes coming out of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, now I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I just played off of that name and called it Downstar, and I did like an iron-on t-shirt transfer kind of thing, and I got the logo Darkstar, and I changed the letter so it said Downstar, and then the bottom of it said bootlegging copywritten shit since 2001. And dude, that was my first. I still have the T-shirt, bro, and
Oh,
it's
that's
crazy how everything moves full circle, because
uh-huh.
it like now we're back into skateboarding, and that's kind of where the brand started from. So my entire full circle story would be as if I could do a collabo with Darkstar, the skate company.
Uh-huh.
So I'm trying to work on that one. But yeah,
Um,
dude, that's where the name came from, man. It came from that, and then every time I needed something, if I needed an email, I needed to call a certain project, something, everything was Downstar, and that was in 2001.
wow.
Yeah, so I was probably like 16 or something. I can't do the math right now. 15, 14, something around there. But yeah,
Yeah.
dude, even before that, I was selling Happy Meal toys. I was selling baseball cards to my
See?
cousins, and
See, like that's the thing is like, but have you ever stopped to evaluate like, you didn't wake up and like, okay, I'm gonna sell X amount of these. It's gonna return X amount of profit. This is my
yeah,
margin. Like you didn't do any of that. It's just the DNA.
yeah, it just
It's
seemed
just
normal.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
guess maybe what it could be, I don't know if maybe you could relate to this, is I came from a home where it was only my dad was working. So my dad had to take care of me, my two sisters, and my mom. And I just seen how
Wow.
hard that he worked and how much that he had to work and the things that he had to do. So I kind of felt guilty at an early age to say like, "Hey dad, can you buy me a video game? Can you buy me this toy? Can you buy me a new skateboard?" I just didn't feel like it was right. So when I had
Yeah,
my opportunity to start making my own money, dude, I just took it full force.
for sure.
So
So like I think this is what I think is interesting is, you're going from making a couple dollars burning a couple of CDs and I'm making, $2 or $3 selling skateboard wax. Like, it's not even enough to, pay 1 month of rent in a year.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
But now we're both making, full on good livings doing our own thing. And I
yeah,
think that a lot of people listening are like, man, I'm going to start my hustle. Like, everyone's on this Gary V, on
yeah, yeah,
this,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to hustle. But like, it's a grind for like a long period of time. And
Oh,
like constantly trying to go, okay, like, don't do that, learn from that, da 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 da. And I think for you, like, I've always thought you were really sick in the way that you would and I do a similar thing where if you get a hater instead of you're like, man, you're not fighting fire with fire, you're like, I mean, like we just do what we do. I'm sorry if you hate it, but and sometimes you can turn
yeah,
a hate into like a huge positive, and that's what I've
yeah.
always thought was really cool about you.
Thank you, man. I try, and I've been trying to make more of a conscious decision to attack it in that manner, because I knew a lot of people that I looked up to were watching the growth of the brand and were seeing how we were gonna navigate through the growth of everything. And I definitely did take some steps back, within the time that we've been in business, and it's a really hard balance to balance business versus how you feel as a person. And
Exactly.
and when I feel personally attacked and I take it to that personal level, it's hard for me to justify it and just think of the person as somebody who maybe they just don't know much about the company. They're thinking about it in a different way. I'm thinking about it in a more emotional way. Like, yo, why are you attacking me? I'm going to attack you now. But that's not the best way to look at things.
It's not. It's not for business or for respect or just even personally.
Yeah.
You know, but it's hard to not, because like you got your whole identity wrapped up in this thing. You know, like, man, this is my everything. And somebody comes on and like, man, you're ripping everybody off. You charge like $2 for a product.
Yeah.
And you're like, man.
Yeah. And now looking at things, I just feel like they just don't know any better. And I for one, I feel they don't know any better. And the things that they're saying, it's not registering to them what it actually is. Like that's how all businesses work. If wherever you go, the prices are marked up so they can sustain the business, and they just don't understand that. It's like, well, if you get it for $1, why are you selling it for $2? Why didn't you just sell it for $1.25? You know, you're still making your profit. Like, what the fuck? This is America, bro. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say this isn't a socialist country. That's why, and it's yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and then another way that I've been looking at it lately, since I've been more intrigued with like how people think, and that's kind of one of the reasons for the podcast, to get into people's minds a little more. I think about it and I'm thinking like, this dude is probably having a bad day. Something's going on with him, and I'm the outlet that he's using to let his anger out. So sometimes I'll just be like, what's wrong, dude? Are you all right? You know, like, and then and then later on they'll message me, hey man, it wasn't your fault. I'm sorry. All right, it's cool. We're all human, you know? So what are some ways that you look to attack those kind of issues?
Man, I kill them with kindness, you know?
Yeah.
Like deep down, I go train jujitsu and I choke somebody, and that's how I deal with it personally. But when it comes to like the face and, you know, the professional response, you know, I'm like, you know, hey, at the end of the day, you know, we do our best. I think we do a really good job. We have a lot of experience, etc. If you have a bad experience with something that we have, just let us know. Give us the opportunity to make it right. But if, you know, a lot of times people come with some weird online kind of aggressive, you know, hate.
Yeah.
And instead of fighting back with, no, you're stupid, you know?
Yeah.
I literally do. I just kill them with kindness. I'm like, hey, man, I'm really sorry that you had that experience. We definitely want to take care of it. You know, let us know. And a lot of times people are like really blown away because they expect you to come back with the, you know, no, you know, fight fire with fire. And like I said, and then they're really surprised. And then, you know what? So this is the thing. Then you have a customer for life because they just tested you. They just tested what you're made out of. You know, they tested your salt, and you came back and you proved that you were there, and, you know, now you got a customer for life. So anytime, like I still, this many years in business, I still have to look at that and step back and realize that it's an opportunity. But it is an opportunity because you're never going to have that person's attention as much as you do when they're hating on you. So if you can flip it around, like they're all ears, just waiting for your response. Like they're queued up to what you're about to say.
Yeah.
And so when you say something, make sure that it's the right thing.
Yeah, and when you switch it around on them, it kind of takes away all their ammo.
Yes. And then you're you don't fight fire with fire. You don't. Yeah. I just, like I said, I kill them with kindness, and they go, well, that's not what I wanted you to say. And then, you know, you get the opportunity to like I said, turn them into a customer for life.
Yeah, that's a really definitely, man. That's a really good way to look at it, and I feel like a lot of people listening right now, they can hopefully learn from that, because I see a lot of businesses still going and fighting fire with fire, and me looking at it from the outside looking in, I kind of want to reach out to them and say like, hey man, that's probably not the best thing to do, but you know, then I just don't want to overstep my boundaries, you know?
Right. Yeah, no, I fully get that one. You know, you listen to Grant Cardone. You know who Grant Cardone is?
No.
Dude, Grant Cardone is hilarious. Like, this guy is like the ultimate sales guy, and he's like, yeah, everything's just like super pumped up and yada yada. But this guy, he says, man, if you got 10 haters, he's like, you need 20. Get you 20 haters.
Yeah.
He's like, you're not doing anything if you don't have anybody hating. You're not doing anything. You're just you're scared. He's like, you got 10 haters, get you 20.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a shame that you have to deal with that, but you have to know how to navigate to make everything work out in your benefit. And you're definitely right, dude. If there's somebody that's hating on you, I mean, at the end of the day, at least they know who you are. They know what your brand is, and that's better than having somebody that never even heard of you in the first place.
Right.
So before we get too far off track, I wanted to tell you that you're actually my motivation for starting a podcast.
Thanks, man.
Hell yeah, dude. When you had the podcast, Do It for a Living podcast, I don't even know how I stumbled upon it, but just listening to I don't even remember the first episode. It could have been Dave. It could have been John from KStuned, Dave from Skunk 2, or it could have been, you'll probably know which one was first, Brian from Hassport. I'm not sure.
Yeah, those were all up there. I think Tony Palo, Ben Strader from EFI University, Chris Harris from Xenocron. These were probably the first couple.
I listened to all those ones as well.
Yeah.
But just listening to that and having that content available, and then being able to hear these business owners that I've looked up to ever since I've been in the industry, and hearing their story and being able to decipher it and think like, yo, these guys aren't really special. They just hustled their ass off and made it happen.
Isn't that funny? That's what everybody thinks. Everybody's like, man, they have something. I don't have that thing. Everybody has said, I can't tell you the amount of response that I get where people are like, man, I had no idea that they went through struggles. Like, people think that they just woke up in the morning and had sunshine and fucking rainbows coming out of their ass and everything just worked out. So everybody loves that those guys struggled, and because we all go through it. And so when you hear that somebody that you look up to goes through it as well, it kind of puts you in check, and you kind of go, all right, maybe this is just what it takes. Maybe this is just how it goes. And that's really helpful to people. And that, like, when I was coming up, if I could have heard those stories, I would have killed for that. And that's why I wanted to do that for everybody else, Yeah. I wanted everybody else to hear that. And so, like when we started the podcast, I started that in 2015. Like, podcasts, I barely knew what a podcast was. I just, so like we even had ads where we said, what the fuck is a podcast?
Yeah.
When we were trying to get people to listen, because we were like, hey, check out our podcast. And people are like, what's a podcast?
Yeah.
But it's cool. And I like the audio only, because you can listen while you're just driving down the road.
Yeah, and, definitely. A lot of people have been telling us to post the videos, but to be honest, my idea of the video would be a 3-camera setup, a camera on me, camera on the guest, camera on both of us, and a producer switching back and forth. And,
so it's a big production.
Yeah, and right now I don't have the time to do that. I'd rather dedicate the time that I do have to actually keep the ball rolling from the podcast.
Yeah.
And then,
dude, I had no idea you had so many episodes.
Really?
Like, I had no idea. And that's okay. So here's the thing. I'm tuned into you.
Yeah.
Right. And I still don't know. I feel like that's amazing, because it just goes to prove the point that, like, if you're not selling your product, it's probably not. You're sitting there going, man, maybe my product's not good. It probably has nothing to do with that. It probably just has to do with nobody knows about it.
Yeah.
And you think it's your whole world, and you've made 10 social media posts about it. So you think, oh, man, everybody has to know about it. They just don't like it.
Yeah.
No, they don't even know about it, because I'm tuned into you, and I had no idea you'd gone this far with the podcast.
Dude, that's so crazy, man. I feel like I'm promoting a lot, but I don't know, man. You know how the algorithm and shit is?
Uh-huh.
A lot of those posts, they don't do as well.
How do you okay, so I'm looking at your Instagram I don't know, this was a while ago, so you probably have 10,000 more posts. But
yeah.
I'm like Downstar, he's got 10,000 Instagram posts. And I'm like, what the fuck? I post on Instagram. I feel like that's all I ever think about. I only have like 2,000 posts
Yeah.
or what, or less, probably even less than that. I don't understand how you do it. How do you
Um,
do it?
Well, at first, Instagram and social media was something that I really enjoyed. So that made the transition easy,
Yeah.
to easy for me to focus on the business aspect of it because I was already doing it on my personal time anyways. What I think it is, and this could be the issue that you're having, is maybe you don't really understand the importance of it in a deeper level besides it's something that we have to do for marketing, because I see that with a lot of businesses in our community. So I don't know how you feel about that.
I think it's just a time thing. Like, I so like I spend my day doing like technical work, right?
Yeah.
So I'm on the dyno tuning this or that, figuring out this problem. I'm in SolidWorks doing CAD work, and so it's hard for me to like I have to like kind of turn the world off and get into my zone and do my work. And so it's hard for me to do this flip flop back and forth because you make a post and then it elicits responses and then you have this engagement and then pretty soon that's your day.
Yeah.
And so basically I do what I can. I try to I would love to do more, and I think I'm going to start trying to do more live stream stuff to where it's
Definitely.
Where like I can do this for this period of time, meaning like if people have questions or whatever, they know that like there's a Q&A, like now's the time, as opposed to you make a post 2 hours later, someone asks a question and then they expect a response right now. Well, that means I have to be monitoring it the whole time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd like to do more of those types of things so that I can answer technical questions about our products. I think that's probably a big one.
Well, how important do you think social media is? Like an honest question to your business, how important do you feel that it is?
I can stay steady where I'm at without it.
Got you.
But I'm only going to be able to grow this thing unless I do better with it.
Got you, because I think that a lot of people they haven't got to that level where they understand that if I feed this machine, it's gonna feed back to me, and that's one thing. Go ahead.
But you can't feed it once, right? You got to feed it.
You got to keep going,
and you got to keep feeding it, and it. So it's just like, I mean, yeah, you got to keep feeding it. It just becomes a thing. It just really becomes, kind of a monster. Like feeding that monster becomes a new full-time job. Well, what if I already have a full-time job?
Do you have maybe some young friends, young cousins, or something like that? What I would recommend, and I've recommended this to a few people, is to get like an intern. Maybe somebody that's always on their phone, somebody that's good with content creating. And
you're a smart guy, Frank. I have a tuning apprentice that's been here for 3 months. He's a younger guy, and I'm actively encouraging him to kind of do more of this. He's got a small Instagram page, but I mean, in my business, I don't want to just put out crap. I want to put out, informative, technical information that like people are into. And so like, it's kind of got to have this balance between, good quality content and kind of needs to be interesting too. 'Cause it's really easy to put out dry, boring kind of content. So I guess long story short, I feel like the intern thing is, it's difficult to find somebody who really has it. I feel like it's rare somebody that's really got the salt to put out unique content.
Yeah.
Do you have an intern? Do you have a guy?
No. I mean, my guy Alex, who works with me, he helps me out with the Instagram, and usually what I delegate to him is to just go on the page, go to the Explorer page, and anybody that you see that would benefit from our product, just go and leave a comment about whatever their post is. Say it's a EG, K-Swap EG. Oh, nice car, man. Nice. Oh, looks good. Just something simple. Even an emoji. And I said, watch, dude, if you do this, watch in a couple hours what's going to happen. And then we go back and people will tag us in their story like, oh, man, look at Downstar. Thank you for the like. Thank you for the like. And that's a free shout out for nothing. Just going over there and showing them love. And then when you do that, it makes your company seem less elite and more of like part
Elbow
of the
elbow.
community. Yeah. And that's what you want, you know? If you would have asked me years ago, I wanted to be the biggest company. I want to be looked at as the best, and I wanted to be looked at as the most elite. But right now, I feel that there's strength in numbers. So when I go to a car show, I'm not just hanging out at the booth and just sitting back and letting my employees do it and just watching. No, I'm right there talking to everybody, going, walking, checking out their cars after the meet, hanging out with them, because that makes them not only a fan of the company, but a fan of me personally, and they turn into a spokesperson for the brand itself. So, as far as social media goes, have you ever heard of Andy Frisella?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's kind of the aggressive kind of dude.
Yeah, so he has a podcast called the MFCEO, and he broke it down one time that made a lot of sense. He said, okay, so look at your Instagram. Your stories is the behind the scenes of what's going on. All right, guys, today we got a Corvette in here. We just put our whatever package on it, and this is what it came in, or we're going to put this package on it. So let's see what it makes right now. And that doesn't take anything. It just takes the discipline of yourself to go in there to take the 15, 20 seconds real quick. And then after it's done, okay, put the phone down, then you get back to work. So that's where your behind the scenes is in the stories. So then after that, everything that you post is your polished final product. So then you do one picture of the car on the dyno or whatever, and then you say, okay, guys, today we had this car come in, the Z06, and factory makes this. We put in this package. The package cost this much. Just give a small backstory, and not even more about the product and the service, but more about what the product and the service brings, like the experience you're trying to create.
Right.
This customer, Johnny, he's been a customer for us for a long time. He used to have the Civic, but now he got the Corvette. Break it down. You could even do it in a few paragraphs, you know? And then what you said about going live, that's perfect, man. And that's something that when we were doing Huffy Talk, that when we had Busy Moto on, he got the idea to do the Tech Tuesdays from being on Huffy Talk. And ever since then, dude, he's on like episode probably 60s, in the 60s now. So every Tuesday at a certain time, he'll go live and answer tech questions. So that could maybe be something that you can do as well.
Oh, he's going live to do tech questions. Yeah. I think that's where it's at. I think, you know, a lot of times, you know, we can create. And I'm more comfortable, and I think everybody is more comfortable. Kind of, you write this. You make a YouTube video. It's all edited. It talks about the pros and cons. Oh, my stuff fits this. It doesn't fit this.
Yeah.
But most of the time, people don't watch it. Or even you include, like, I have installation guides for all of our products. But a lot of times, people don't sit down and like digest that information. Like, people are better learners when they engage.
Yeah, definitely.
You know. But we still don't do it. And that's, I guess, the biggest thing for me is realizing that's the case. So now I just need to put it in queue and get into this new habit, because I do think that's the best opportunity to really get people to understand how your product works, or to engage with it, is to, you just got to be like right here, like if it was this environment where I'm live and you could ask me a question right now, I can answer it right now, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
So I think live streaming's where it's at.
Yeah, so if you can make a schedule for yourself, and you can be disciplined on it just like you are with everything else, and you feed the machine, it'll definitely pay off in the future. Perfect example is Sheepy. Dude, Sheepy's page has blown the fuck up. I I can say he's probably gained over 100,000 followers within this year, just because he focused on social media. I mean, granted, he does have amazing content. Like anything with a supercar in there is going to do great. But the formula is the formula. You just got to feed the machine.
So the question, though, is of those 100,000 followers, right, how many of those guys are like qualified buyers? And I would say it's 1%. Most of those are kids who like Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
So it depends on kind of what you're trying to build. If followers are what you're trying to build, that's cool. There definitely is a correlation between followers and business growth over time. But there's also a lot of really big, successful businesses that don't have that. So I guess I'm not discounting it by one iota. I'm just saying that followers don't pay mortgages, bro.
No, definitely. And you can see that from like social media influencers like models. People are following the models just because of how they look.
They're hot.
But when the models try to sell something, nobody's buying that tea. Nobody's buying the teeth whitener shit. Nobody's buying their merch. So in that aspect, I could see it not making sense. But when you're in the automotive community, you can actually change somebody's mind from going with a K series to an H series because you're providing the value of it, and nobody else is providing the value. Nobody's taking the time to interact with their audience. Nobody's taking the time to do lives, and those are all opportunities that are just left on the table. So if you were able to just delegate that literally 10 minutes out of your day, divide it up to just post something on your story, every day you're going to want to have maybe 10 to 15 story posts, right? Just whatever you're doing. All right, guys, we just finished that car. We're about to head to lunch right now with the team. The whole team goes to lunch. All right, make a little joke or something like that. So what that does is that brings the allure of KStuned or Kaizenspeed is so out of here that even if I send them a DM, they will never answer me. Hey, look at these guys are just like me. They're going to Arby's or whatever at lunchtime. Oh, I had Arby's, and then you'll see DMs getting, oh man, that looks good or something like that. Then you shoot them a thumbs up or it was good. That dude, I do that all day, and maybe it's because I've been doing it for so long that it doesn't really seem to me like I'm wasting time, because this is for marketing. This is where my marketing dollars, hours are going to, is focused on social media. It's just a little more fun than putting ads up on Super Street or getting clicked on Google or something like that.
I spend all of my time tuning cars and developing products, and that's just what we do here.
Yeah.
And so it's rough trying to balance the two, because in my opinion they're too different. At least for my mind, it's hard for me to shift gears. I'm doing this to doing this to doing this to doing this. So at the end of the day, I got to find out what works for me, and and that's what we'll do.
Here's a good one, right? Do you have your Instagram set up as a business page?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Anybody listening, if you have a business, small business, large business, this will work out for you. So what I do is, if you can spend some time during the week on Photoshop making story post, right? So it'll show your rear trailing arm kit. It'll show the NOS
and then
plate.
schedule them.
No, well, not schedule them. Just have them in your phone. So when you're going, okay, I haven't posted something. Even if you need the discipline of setting an alarm for yourself every 3 hours, say post on story. Okay, cool. Let me post on story. Whatever you're doing at that second, or if you just go to the story folder in your pictures, find them, boom, click that. Okay, go to your website, copy the link. Put the swipe up, put the link in there, and then just put swipe up, and then that's it. That's your 2 minutes that you're dedicating to social media. So you stop what you're doing, do that real quick. Boom. Okay, let me get back on this dyno. But what happens a lot of the time is that you don't see the value in it So then you'll say, okay, I'll do that later. And then you forget, and then you go a whole day without putting anything up. So one tip would be to have a folder full of maybe 20 to 30 posts of product pictures of somebody that's using your car, and then you're just, or using your products on their car, and then you're just rotating it. And then inside of that, you're mixing in original content of what's going on at that time. But you really want to use that swipe up feature. So even if it's a swipe up, like, hey guys, if you want to know how to install the rear trailing arm setup, swipe up and it'll take you to our YouTube video. Just copy the link from the YouTube video, put it in there, and that's all you got to do. And then you have that ammo ready to go.
Yeah, no, that's a good, I think that's a really good point, is doing it when you kind of carved out a section of time so that you can do your thing, and then actually posting it becomes, it's not the time to post it. It's like, I want to be thoughtful, and I want to take the time to like write a caption or something that like means something to somebody. And so that requires a brain shift. So I'd also, need to kind of write the caption that's going to go with the, I don't know, if I'm going to make a post, for example.
Yeah, even those thoughtful posts,
I
post on my Instagram. I mean, I try to post as much as I can, but I can go a day, maybe 2 posts, and that's good enough to keep you sustained. 2 posts, some work on the story, and then just commenting back and forth. Things like that. You can even give that to your intern. You could tell your intern, hey, okay, when you have some time, every hour, I need you to check the social media. Any comments, any comment that you receive, you like the comment and you comment back. Whether it's an emoji, whether if they say like, oh, where do I get that? Oh, hey, shoot me a DM or something like that. And then they shoot you the DM, and then you can have a small conversation there. I think a lot of us that we put a little more to it than it actually is. I get so many DMs throughout the day, and it's not full-on conversations. It's really just some dude that needs help. Hey, man, I have a K-Series transmission. I wanted to get bolts for my transmission. All I have to do is go to the link, send it over. Here you go, bro. If you have any questions, let me know. And that's something you don't have to do because it doesn't take the knowledge that you have. It's just general things.
Yeah.
And you can delegate that to anybody.
How much time do you spend YouTube, Facebook, Instagram? Like, what's the...
Facebook... Facebook and YouTube, I don't see the value in any of those things. And as far as Facebook, I just don't like the platform. I don't like the crowd that it brings, and it's an actual negative energy for me. So but
Facebook is the only place that you could go like go live and have an interactive Q&A situation.
No, you can do that on Instagram.
Can you?
Yeah, that's how I would do Huffy Talk. That was through Instagram.
Okay.
So yeah, it'll just
go
to
me, bro.
Yeah, to all your followers, dude. So when you go to post on the story, you could swipe over to do like a boomerang or something like that. If you swipe over to the right, it'll say go live, and then you click that, and then it'll tell everybody on the top where the stories are. It'll say that you're live, and that would be one thing too as well. If there's a day in the week that's a little slower for you, if you can decide to do like a Tech Tuesday. Something like that.
BC's Tech Tuesdays are on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And every time I go in there, there's at least 50 or 60 people, and relatively, I've had lives where there's maybe 100 or so, but if you just really think about it, having 50 people in one room listening to you, that's a lot of people. So no matter if you have 10 people, 12 people, that's 10, 12 potential customers that you could have just from that interaction. And you don't have to do a whole hour. You could dedicate it 30 minutes, or you can make it 15 minutes, whatever you feel like you want to make it. Say you have like a clever name that you want to call it, something like that. A certain day of the week or something, make it fun. And then on your story post, be like, okay guys, tomorrow, KStuned Tuesdays. Tomorrow, if you have any questions, I'll be live from 12 to 1 answering all your questions. So these people know, okay, I'm not going to blow up his DMs. I'm not going to blow up his comments, but I'm going to ask him live. And then when you're comfortable with talking and being in front of the camera, so it's not going to be a problem for you at all.
No, it's just a matter of dedicating time, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a matter of like, how you divide up your day, and like you said, finding value in it. If you can convince yourself that it's valuable, then it's no problem to do it. But when you've already, I guess when you've already got kind of your day split up, and it's another new thing to do. So something's going to have to go to make room for that thing. But like we talked about, I totally 100% agree that it's the best way to engage with people. And man, unless you're physically there, that's the best way. Physically
Definitely.
at the track, mixing it up with people, like where they get to see kind of what you're about. So the next best thing is, live. Because like just like this,
Yeah.
you're in California, I'm in Washington State, and through the power of computers,
Yeah.
we can have this conversation.
This is crazy, dude. This feels as real of a conversation as it can be. There's no lag. The sound is perfect. The video is perfect. As long as you can see me, I can see you. Perfect.
I can see your beautiful face, buddy.
Hey,
for
thank
sure.
You. I appreciate
So-
it. Did you see my beautiful T-shirt and
King.
and my beautiful hat too?
That's what's up.
Link
Hey,
in bio. See?
Downtime with Downstar. So you're wearing you're wearing my stuff. I'm wearing your stuff. I was
love
gonna
it.
tell you as a side note. So
Yeah.
I was on the dyno yesterday, and a car's not really making power. And then I put your hat on, and all of a sudden it was up like 11 wheel horsepower. So
Oh shit! There you
it
go.
may or may not be dyno proven.
I'll take it. I'll
that the
take
hat's
it.
worth 11 wheel. So
Definitely, man.
it's science. So
But
can't
yeah,
argue with science.
back to the social media stuff. I can understand that people. So how old did you turn today?
36.
36. Oh shit, that's dope. I'm 34, so we're not even that far apart. Okay,
Yep.
so 36. So, and you've had your business for 15 years. So implementing something new into your business, maybe does that seem like something foreign to you or something uncomfortable?
What? Like implementing what?
Like
Social media time?
Like more social media time.
Like taking it seriously.
Yeah.
Or taking it more seriously. No, I mean, I guess the issue is it's a long deal. So you're just going to have to like have faith in the process. So,
Yeah.
you just like, so, I'll start doing a thing, and then I'll get busy, and then it'll go away.
Yeah.
And then it was a waste of time, honestly, because it's got to be consistent. I think it's got to be done consistently over time, don't you think?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. And that's
Like 1 or 2 or a couple months.
I think if you dedicated 2 months to this new schedule that you would have, you would start off, check your analytics, and then in a month check it again. I guarantee 100% it'll be up from where it is now.
For sure.
And always doing things like giveaways or just interacting with your audience, that helps out tremendously, man.
And so you don't do any email stuff, huh?
No, I mean, that's probably an opportunity that I'm missing out on. But like you say, man, you only have a certain amount of time throughout the day. And to me, maybe the way that I'm thinking about it is a naive way of thinking about it. But I get emails all day from businesses in our industry, and I never click them because that's how many people actually check their email like we do. The way that we check our email is not the way that the general public checks their email. For instance, my wife, I look at her emails and there's like 21,000 unread. And that's pretty much how most people are, because that's how I was when I didn't have a business.
I get like probably at least 20, 25 emails a day. And I always keep my inbox, I keep my inbox below 200.
Yeah.
Emails. Like that's kind of my number. It was originally 50, but but now it's 200. And the ones that are kind of lingering there, I go back every few months and kind of like, oh yeah, I leave it there just kind of because I wanted to read it when I had some time or something. But you're right. I don't click on most emails, but by the same token, I don't click on most social media posts. You know, you're kind of doing this. Okay, look at that. Okay, look at that. So, I mean, I guess that's why you have to do it so consistently over time, just so that, you know, you're more likely to be in front of people. Because look, like I said, I had no idea you were this far on the podcast thing, and I'm tuned into you.
Yeah.
You know, and so I guess that the only thing that I'm saying about that is that it's hard to gain someone's attention when there's like, look, something shiny, There's all this shit going on, you know. So it's definitely difficult to grab someone's attention when there's so much going on.
Yeah, and then when you want to switch them over to another platform like emails or Facebook or something like that, it's hard, man. So I feel that Instagram is the best tool that I have available for marketing, and that's why I put most of my time towards that. And anything else is usually just for like pleasure. If you'll see my post on Facebook, most of those are geared towards motivating people, talking about certain discussions, but it's not really about, hey, check out this new product or check out this link, because I just never felt a value in it. And I can do the same thing. I can post something, new product on, I just released a new product. I can post the link. They can click the link, but it's just, I feel for me that it doesn't have the same effect as an Instagram would. And Instagram is where I feel that the quote unquote cool kids are. So if that's one thing about marketing too, is networking with people and, you know, and working with them that way.
This right here,
yeah,
this is the best way to network, man.
Yeah,
like these I'm telling you, podcasts and these like in-depth conversations where you really have somebody's full attention, man. You get to learn so much about that person, and then you know, man, like you and I just became friends.
Hell yeah,
I'm learning so much about you right now.
Thank you.
You know?
I'm glad you like
I really
me.
like that. You know. I like doing that, and I like that same situation on Do It for a Living. I get to learn about, you know, I get somebody's undivided attention. I get to learn about them, and it just blows my mind, you know, how much we all have in common.
Yeah, so let's get back to the podcast. What is the status of it, and what's your role in the podcast as of now?
Sure. So I started the podcast in 2015, and I was going hard for about a year. We were doing 2 a week.
Oh, nice.
Releasing them every like on schedule, every Tuesday, every Thursday, I think it was, you know, at 6 a.m. like that. You know, they were edited and released and everything. And then, you know, I kind of fizzled out because it was just, it was a side gig, you know, but it was turning into a full-time job. But I have employees, and I have a shop, and I have products to work on. And so it was a lot. I kind of stopped and fizzled away. And then the guys who have it now contacted me about buying it, and they bought the podcast. And and I had started the Do It for a Living Facebook community, which we still have. Yeah. And it's only business owners, so you can be rest assured kind of the type of people that are in there. Yeah. That, you know, you're going to be able to talk about customer-based things. You know, my podcast was about business and you know, and business in the motorsports community and kind of the human stories behind it to help people that are up and coming, guys in their garage that just like want this more than fucking anything, man. Yeah. They just want it. And this was a tool to help those guys out. And so, yeah, so the current status is there's still podcasts going on. I haven't done any episodes in a while, but this month I'm going to do 3 to 4 new episodes. So I'm going to be back doing some new ones. So I've got some guys lined up. I'm pretty excited about that. So yeah, man, I'm just steady jamming, you know, kind of ups and downs as far as, you know, I focus over here for a while, then I'll focus over here for a while. Lately, the last couple of years, I've been focused entirely on new product development that is not make model specific. So I'm working on 2 particular products. One is already patent pending that I'd love to talk to you about, and the other one I can't talk to you about yet, but they are I'm really proud of what they are. And, you know, just like you, I like to create things, and I've really been pushing myself on these other products. These are going to be things that just really aren't as easy to knock off as like this kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I
You
want to
know?
get into. I know that that's going to be a really deep and in-depth conversation. So I just want to pick your head a little more about the podcast stuff, and then
Yeah.
we can move on to the less fun things. But that's definitely a conversation that I do want to have, and I'm glad that we can have it, especially with
So what's up with the podcast?
So when you would do the podcast, what would it look like beginning to end? So I'm talking about reaching out to a guest and to the time that you upload it. What was your way of doing things?
So I started with my friends, and Chris Harris from Xenocron and Tony Palo from T1. And then I kind of used them to say, hey, what about this guy? They would put me in touch with that guy, and then we would just kind of daisy chain down from there, So we would, like I said, start with friends. Those guys would recommend us to their friends, and we'd just kind of go down the line that way. So, and I would, like, let's say, so for example, Tony's a buddy of mine. He's obviously epic, and he pointed me to Martin from AMS. So he would send an introductory email like, hey, this is Reid. He's not full of shit. You should go on his show. He'd say, sure, let's do that. And then we would record that episode and put it up. And then, same kind of thing. You get guys that are willing to kind of point you to their friends. Like certain guys are kind of like hubs of information.
Yeah.
Or hubs of kind of referrals.
Yeah.
And so then they'd point you to those other guys, and I've been doing this for a really long time as far as being in the industry. So I had a lot of friends that are in the industry that people wanted to hear about. And then I was lucky enough to get referrals from them to people that they knew. And, it's really funny because now a lot of times I'm like the podcast guy. People, at SEMA, I've had people come to me like, oh man, you're the podcast guy.
Oh, sick.
And I'm like, I mean, I did the podcast for a year. Yeah. I've been doing tuning and products for 15 years, and I'm the podcast guy. Okay.
Yeah.
And a lot of those have been really cool because I still get emails and messages and DMs about like, man, I really appreciate you doing that. I had no idea that these guys went through the same struggle that I go through. And man, that's pretty cool to help somebody out like that.
Definitely,
to be able
man.
Because I've been there, like so stressed out, like, we're just working hard, just really trying to do it. Like when I was in my first shop, so we started out in a garage. We're in the backyard of my buddy's house. He's got a little shop, like 2-bay shop. I have 13 cars in the backyard.
Oh, wow.
We get I'm building turbo kits and da-da-da. And we get a note from the city, like, you got to get out of here. I get over to our first commercial location. It's just this little teeny metal building. And I'm just working really fucking hard for, like really, really hard. Like I'm not doing anything with my friends. This is just all that I'm doing. And it's really tough. Like I'm just trying, trying really, really hard. And I still have a picture of those boots that I wore like every day for 2 years. I took a picture of them when I actually took them, I threw them away, and then I took them out of the garbage. And I was like, no, I need to take a picture of these because this is super important to me. And so I took a picture of these boots, and I framed that picture. And I've got this framed picture of some worn out ass fucking boots on my dresser in my really nice house now.
Yeah.
Because and I don't know. Moral of the story is like, I would have killed to have the information that I'm giving to people during that time so that I could like just to help power me through it.
Yeah.
And that's what I was thinking of when I'm doing the podcast. It's just like, man, if I can help those guys power through that, it's going to be worth it.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. It's this information is invaluable because a lot of these guys, you don't even know who the owner of the business is. And if you do know, you might be intimidated to even try to attempt to have a conversation with them. And just as valuable as time is, all business owners don't have the time to have these separate conversations with everybody. So this gives everybody listening a way to be there and to actually hear all the information. So I feel the same on that, man. I love doing the podcast. I love talking to people. One thing different with us than you were doing in your show is that I really don't want this to be an automotive based show.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I'm the same way that you made acquaintances in the industry. I did the same, and those are some of the people that I'm reaching out to do podcasts with, more so of seeing what makes them the type of person that could have a certain car, have a certain business, or whatever they do, rather than focusing on that. Such as, how fast is your car? What did you do? What's the last race you won?
So Frank, tell me, man, what gets you going? Like what wakes you up in the morning? Like, I know you want things. Like, where do you want to be? What makes you happy, and what's the ultimate like just pie in the sky, everything that you could ever dream of goal? And do you think you're going to get there?
If you would have asked me 10 years ago, I would have said something on the lines of material things. But now I think what makes me happy besides all right, you're slowing down. There you go. Okay. What makes me happy besides like my family, because that's number one. My number one is to make sure that my family is taken care of, and me as a provider, I'm doing my job. So, can you still hear me good?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Rock and roll. So that's my number one. But what I would love to do for the rest of my life is just create and have the tools to be able to create. And that goes from whatever it could be, whether it's create content, create a business, redo our front showroom, anything. Just
make the world yours.
Making something mine. Yes, exactly. How I want it to be, customizing something how I want to be, and not to have anybody. I probably the biggest one, to be honest, is to not have anybody holding me back. Have anybody telling me what I need to do, telling me I need to be here at this certain time, telling me, no, you can't do that. You have to do it this way. And that's my ultimate idea of what I would call life and happiness.
Nice.
So
you thought about it. I always am interested to see if a lot of times people don't have a concrete, they're just like, I don't know, I want something and I'm looking for it.
Yeah.
I enjoy the chase. I made a post one time, I'm sure it was super misinterpreted, but I literally said, I've gotten everything I've ever wanted.
Yeah.
Ever. A lot of times I got there and realized that I didn't want that at all.
Yeah.
But I enjoy, as soon as I get a thing or I've achieved a goal, I know I'm just going to be looking to the horizon for the next one.
Yeah.
So I'm actively trying to enjoy the grind, like the pursuit, the chase,
the journey.
Man, the chase is what I'm after. And kind of, I'm really thankful to feel, even when I'm scared or nervous, like pit in my stomach, like, I don't know, am I making the right decision? Man, I'm thankful to even have those feelings, because you know what's way worse than that is boredom or just not having anything to even be scared about, right? Just, that's the worst thing ever.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. And you hit it spot on with people not being able to interpret something like that, which you've said. But for most successful business owners, I'm not saying, you have disposable income like nothing, but you have a roof over your head, you have a home, you have the family, you have everything that you can need. Say if you wanted, okay, you want the fastest Corvette, okay, you got that already. So now what? Now what's going to make you happy? Since these material things, they only give you so much. So that's a way that I've been looking at it. Hey, my goal is I want to get a Huracan. So I'm working towards getting a Huracan. I know that the way that I thought about a Lamborghini when I was a kid versus now is totally different. When I was a kid, I thought that when I would have the Lamborghini, I would be the happiest person alive. And I don't think that way anymore. What that represents to me is the end of a certain goal. And right now I am on the journey to get to that goal. And once I get it, I'm at that plateau. Like, yo, dude, I made it. Let's go for a drive. This is going to be nice. But then the next day I'm on to something else. I'm working on another goal. And it's not that I don't appreciate what I've gotten or that I'm just searching for something else that's going to make me happy. It's the actual journey of getting something that makes me happy.
Yeah, the chase. So let me ask you this. This is the nitty-gritty that I always do for everybody. I think this is why people like to listen.
Let's do it.
Like, talk to me about the details. So a Huracan is what? Dollars.
Probably
break
like
it down
$180.
Okay, $180. You're gonna pay for it in cash, or does it mean you need to have $3,000 a month for the payment?
It'll probably be a payment. I wouldn't throw the whole 180 down on it.
So when to be able to achieve the Huracan status, you're looking at, have you broke down the payment? What's the payment going to be? Like, do you know? Like, I'm just wondering. Do you know? Like, do you have a goal as far as like, okay, I'm gonna need to be able to like reasonably have $3,000 extra a month.
Well, it's not an actual goal as far as every day I'm waking up, I'm working towards it, I'm saving money, waiting till the day that I get it. It's not that. It's that's my next big goal that I have in mind, and everything else that I'm doing now is I'm focusing on now and what's going on right now, but that's in my sights. And I kind of said that I would like to have it to drop my son off his first day of high school in that car. So he's on summer break from 6th to 7th grade. So I have maybe 2 years or something like that before it would even come to that. But I understand what you mean. If you have a certain goal in mind, what are you doing to get to that goal? But I guess that goal itself isn't one of those type of goals where it's every single day I'm putting money to the side, because I like to enjoy life as well. I like to eat good. I like to go on vacations, and I don't like to have to eat Topper ramen for the next 2 years just because I want to have that car on a certain day. Yeah. It's going to come when it comes, and that's pretty much
and every day you just get up and you do your best, and then it comes when it comes.
Dude, when I wake up in the morning, it's not like, okay, I have to take care of this today. It's just, okay, I'm going to do as much as possible as I can today. Just say, for instance, yesterday I had a podcast scheduled. I did that podcast, everything in the shop we were taking care of. So me and my son and my cousin and his daughter, we went to the skate park. And I went because I want to just have fun, but I want to get content as well because we're building the Downstar skate, the skate brand. So it's all intertwined in everything. Everything that I'm doing is towards the pushing the boat forward.
So check this out. This has been a recent revelation for me, and it's right along the lines of exactly what you just said. Is people, when you say, okay, I'm either going to work or I'm going to play. For me, they have to be intertwined. They have to be both. So I've had this concept of everything that I do needs to have an and involved. So like, it can't just be like, I'm going to go make money and then later I'm going to have fun. You know, I'm going to make sure that the things I spend my time on have so I make money and I have fun. Gotcha. Or I'm building my brand and I'm doing this. So like, it's not enough for it to just be like, or, you know, everything that I do needs to be, if I'm going to decide whether I'm going to do this activity or not, like like you have to make money, right? You have to have a career, right? But my career needs to be, it needs to be my career, and I need to be fulfilled. So I'm not willing to be fulfilled in the fact that I'm a starving artist, and I'm not willing to just make money in the fact that, I'm a cubicle person, right?
Yeah.
Like it needs to be both. I need to be able to be fulfilled and make money. Those two things need to be together, and I'm not willing to be one or the other. You get a lot of people that are like the starving artist type, right? Like, man, I'm a creative person. I'm just going to create.
Yeah.
And like that, it's just not enough. It needs to be both of those two things in the same. I think that's exactly what you said, with intertwined, right? You're going to the skate park, you're having fun, but you're also building your brand.
Yeah, and I guess the relationship that I have with everything that I do is so intimate. So anything that I do, it doesn't feel like work. This doesn't feel like work. When I get here in the morning, it doesn't feel like work. This feels like me pushing forward and just creating things, I think that we have, me and you, we can relate on, we're hustlers, we're business owners, but we're also creatives. And that's not the same thing. You can be a hustler and not creative. You can be a business owner and not creative. You could be a business owner and not a hustler. But we have all three of those things, which keeps us busy throughout the day. And when you're creative, it's not just like, oh, look, I can draw. Oh, look, I can use CAD works. Oh, look, I can make this out of metal. Oh, look, I can make these bolts or whatever. It's every single thing that you're doing is a creative thing, from the way that I ran the wires from the podcast studio, from the way that we're doing the monitor right now, to, these are all creative ideas rather than just roadblocks.
Like you've created this apparel, this logo.
And this and this,
And I mean, those are the things that, like, if I didn't get to do that, man, I just might as well wither away and die.
Definitely, 100%, dude.
I can't live any other way. It's like oxygen to me.
Yeah. So I feel that if anybody has that sort of passion, if you have that passion of being a creative, that's something that a lot of people don't have, and that's an actual gift. And if you're not using that gift, if you're not feeding that gift, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. If you're working a day job, that's 9 hours out of your day. 8 hours working. You have time for travel or whatever, decompressing, whatever. You still have time throughout your day to dedicate at least an hour to 2 hours to your craft. I don't care who you are. Maybe when you get to our levels, the time and the minutes get a little more rare. But if you don't have a business, if you don't really have anything that you have to dedicate your time to besides your 9-to-5 job, like you're just not good at time management. And that's how I feel. And if you're not good at time management, that would be a huge opportunity that you could work on. But as far as me, yesterday I woke up probably about 6, and I'm not saying that I'm up early all the time and go to sleep late or whatever, but this was my day. Yesterday I woke up at 6, did everything I had to do throughout the day, went to sleep probably about 1 o'clock or something, and then this morning I just woke up to use the restroom at like 5, and I'm just looking in the mirror and just said, man, let's just fucking go. Let's just get the day started. So I just left and went, but I could have spent that time sleeping, got up at 9 o'clock, got to the shop at 9:30, 10 o'clock or whatever, and still had a successful day. But I was able to squeeze in those extra hours because I took away from sleep. And a lot of people aren't willing to do that. You don't need 8 hours of sleep. I'm not saying sleep 2 hours a day, but you get a nice 5 in there, you're pretty good. And from 1 o'clock in the morning, 5 hours, that's 6 o'clock in the morning. So if you're up from 6 in the morning to 1 at night, you're telling me that your day at your job is taking up your entire day? Nah, fuck that, dude. You're just not using your time right. Everybody has it. And it's just a lot of excuses, man.
Mm-hmm. I mean, isn't it amazing? Have you ever thought, I mean, are you close with your dad? Do you talk to your dad now?
Yeah.
I mean, is that amazing to like have that conversation about kind of where you are right now versus where he was when he was your age? And like, I mean, are you so thankful for that? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I think that we were born. You're still in the spectrum as I am, because you can remember the things that I did as a child. Our generation is probably the best generation out, because we have the appreciation of not having, and then we understand what it is
opportunity
to have this opportunity that we have now, to even have this conversation via Skype, you know? So when my dad was my age, it was probably, I can't do the math right now, but probably like the mid 90s or something like that. So in the mid 90s, he didn't have the opportunities that we have available at that same age now.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, I definitely appreciate that. And that's one thing that millennials, they're missing out on, is they didn't understand what it was like not to have life without a cell phone, without internet, without so many of the things that we have nowadays.
Yeah.
And not to any fault of theirs. It's not their fault that they didn't have these opportunities or those struggles to go through. And that's why I feel anybody around our age range, they have the possibilities to even move further than, say, a millennial or the older generation before us.
Uh-huh. It's just crazy that I mean, you're making your living just doing this.
Yeah.
I mean,
selling bolts, dude. Fucking selling bolts, bro. It's like,
you know?
it's insane. And with that is I was able to dive into what the industry needed. I saw the need and I provided it. And no matter if it was bolts, no matter what it was, that's the basics of starting a business. Is you understand that there's a need and you capitalize on that need and you feed that need and then grow from there. Yeah. So I think a lot of people, they kind of romanticize business and make it seem like it's something that they can't accomplish. But I feel like everybody listening, you could have some sort of business where you could at least generate a few $100s a month doing something.
Yeah.
So let's take it back to when you started the business. How did you get the idea to start it, and how did you have any motivation or anybody telling you like, yeah, this is probably the best move to do?
Definitely not. I was just, in the same way that I started a skateboard wax company when I was 12, mm-hmm. It just seemed like the thing to do. Is to, I knew how to do, at that point I had a turbo H22 powered EG.
Okay.
And had learned a lot building that setup. And so I just started doing it for other people, and then like I said, the first product, and this product carried us for the first few years while we were just kind of being a tuning shop. If we wouldn't have had the additional, couple $100 a month from that thing, we probably wouldn't have survived those first year. Yeah. But the balance shaft eliminator kit was our first product. It was just out of necessity for my own engine. I needed to eliminate the balance shafts to build the H22 that was in my turbo EG. And so I figured out how to do it and turn it into a product. And, that was it. So, I mean, no, I didn't have anybody telling me to do it or not. It just seemed like what I should do.
What year was this?
So 2003.
Okay. That was the year I graduated high school.
Uh-huh. So I was 2000. Yeah. So I'm
a couple years out.
Yeah. I'm just over, I'm not quite 2 years older than you, because I just turned 36 today. Uh-huh. So yeah. I mean, I was 19.
Wow.
Just doing it, just trying to do it.
So, so paint us a picture of what your life looked like at 19.
Yeah. So 19, I got kicked out of my parents' house when I was I graduated high school when I was 17. I turned 18 just a month or so after I graduated high school. Graduated high school, I'm 17. it's finally, my parents held me under their thumb, like I couldn't go party and stuff anyways. I think that's why cars were so alluring to me, because it was kind of like my escape.
Got you.
So I always had an early curfew kind of thing like that. And so I get kicked out of my parents' house because as soon as I graduate high school, I'm like, sweet, you don't get to tell me what to do at all.
Really?
And so anyway, yeah. And so that was what's up. I got kicked out. Da 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 da. So then I'm 18. I'm living with my buddy. Just kind of, I have a Prelude at the time. Then I'm living with him, and his parents kind of took me in for a year. I'm living with them. And then I turned 19, move in with my roommate. He's a car guy and a machinist. And that's who machined the first balance shaft Eliminator kit plugs. And yeah, I mean, so then I got a job at a speed shop. There was a speed shop opening up in town. I got a job there. That closed within a year. Mm-hmm. And as soon as that closed, those guys were all coming there for me anyways. And so I started working out of the garage, that my roommate's garage, so like he had a house and I was paying him rent, and I just started working out of that garage. And, like I said, that was 18, 19, and then, yeah, that was it. So I haven't been back since.
So when you got kicked out of the house, was it for a certain reason, or was it just time?
No, just, supposed to come home, hanging out with my girlfriend all night, just, yeah, I don't know, just not doing what I'm supposed to, or not doing what I'm told, I guess, So they were like, I don't know. My parents were always like, as soon as you're 18, you need to go find your way. And so that's what I did.
Did you guys have a close relationship?
Oh, we're totally good now, no problem. But no, I mean, growing up, I don't like to be told what to do. Mm-hmm. I wish it wasn't so bad, but man, I need to do me. And so I always really hated being told what to do when I was a kid. And so when I had the first opportunity to get out of there and go do my own thing, I did it.
Have you ever asked them now why they were like that?
No, I think that's just how my parents are, like don't let me paint the picture. Like, they're great. I just don't, I don't know. We just didn't vibe,
Yeah,
I just saw the world differently.
Yeah. Certain parents parent in a different way, and that doesn't mean it's bad or anything, but there definitely should be rules, but
I was hanging out with shitheads too. So,
okay.
I was skateboarding, and so there's, but I think that was the allure. It was like, man, I need something else. I need my own thing, and so skateboarding was my thing for a long time, long time.
That's so funny, dude, that it always just goes back to skateboarding for like so many people in the industry, dude.
Dude, I broke my arm 4 times. Like, the first time I broke it, like my bone came out right there.
Oh,
like, if you can
shit.
see that.
What were you trying?
It's gnarly. Just ollie in a gap, just like fell back and put my arm down, and that was gnarly, dude. My bone, that was 12. My bone popped out. Oh man. And then and I was by myself. My friend had just skated home, and I was like, oh, I'm going to keep trying to skate this gap. And so I'm alone, and my arm, there's an elbow in the middle of my arm.
Oh, fuck.
Dude, it was gnarly. And so I picked my shit up and started walking towards the hospital, and a car saw me, as I was walking, and they picked me up and drove me to the hospital. Yeah, with 2 elbows.
This kid's got 2 elbows. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. Do you remember how big the gap was? Or was it just...
Yeah, I mean, probably,
it was just
not a very big gap when I was 12, that's for sure. Probably 3 feet or something, just like a curb to curb situation.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, dude. Yeah, we my son's he's 12 too, and he just started skating in January, and dude, he's got some balls now, bro. Yesterday he just did his first 4 stair, and he's in love with it, bro. And yesterday I was trying to do a 6 stair, and I ate shit a few times, dude. When you're skating and you get that point where you're just like, I gotta do it, but then your body's like, nah, it's not gonna happen. But your
Yeah.
brain still keeps wanting to push you. At this age, I kind of listened to my brain and I just backed off and I said, okay, cool, I'll try this again next time.
Yeah.
Because if it was still the kid in me, I would just kept going until I.
So you just started skating late? You just started skating recently?
Well, I used to skate when I was a kid, but as soon as I got
Yeah.
my car, I just stopped skating, and
Okay.
I just got into cars, and that passion took over everything in my life. But
Yeah.
then earlier this year, my son, he just started high school or junior high, so he was in 6th grade, and that's usually the time when people pick up skateboarding. So he was talking about skateboarding, and I was like, dude, that's a cool idea, man. I love skateboarding. And then one day I just took him to the skate shop and I bought him a complete. And then I said, fuck it, let me just get one too. And dude, it's all downhill from there, man. A few months later.
Do you remember so when I was growing up, I could never afford like graphic boards, right? I always had blanks,
Yeah.
you know? And so then like once a year I would get a new complete for Christmas. And I remember just, oh man, a new complete. Woo! That was
greatest
like
feeling, bro.
that was like the Rolls Royce of the, that was like the best day. Like every Christmas is like, okay, all I care about for Christmas is my new complete. And, now I got to learn how to skate again. Cause like, everything's so tight. Like you got a new set of trucks and da-da-da-da-da. And oh yeah, man. Oh, I remember how good it felt to get a new complete.
Hey, the feeling's still there, bro. I guarantee the feeling is still in there because when I got it, it was just like the kid inside of me was like, finally, dude, let's go do this shit again. So then the adult business side of me just activated and said, man, why don't we just do a skate division? You're already doing a podcast, something differently. Why don't you just add a skate division?
So what are you guys doing? You're selling decks or apparel or what?
Yeah, we're gonna start doing apparel. We're gonna start doing decks. So right now is just like the foundation of it. I'm building the social media up, going to the park, getting content. And on Sunday, actually, I grabbed a bunch of shirts, grabbed a couple cases of water, went to the skate park, put it out there, and just started giving the kids T-shirts, and they were so excited, man.
You're giving them away?
Oh yeah, dude. We probably gave away maybe 30 shirts that day. And at the end of the day, the whole park is just wearing Downstar shirts, skating around. I'm getting pictures and stuff. So it was super cool, man, just to give back to those kids. Because if I was their age and somebody would give me a free shirt, dude, I would have been so happy,
Oh, yeah.
And I feel
For
like
sure.
I'm at the position where I can do that now. And I know that that's what it takes to build a brand, man. You gotta get eyeballs on it, and you gotta get people asking what is this. But it's not the brand isn't mostly about making money. It would probably be about if I can break even with everything, I would be happy because that allows me to put out new T-shirts. It allows me to put out new skateboards, create new content, and even have skateboarders as guests on the podcast.
Yeah, Josh Kalis is like into the automotive world, right?
No way.
You don't know Josh Kalis? You know Josh
Yeah,
Kalis
yeah,
rode for DC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's got he's part owner in Speed Society.
No shit.
Yeah, dude, he's big he's got a '69 Camaro twin turbo LS.
Dude, that would be sick.
Yeah, you
to
should
talk
get
to
in.
him,
You should
man.
get Josh Kalis, dude. Josh Kalis is the truth.
Yesterday we just did a podcast. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Mikey Taylor. So Mikey Taylor was a professional skater.
Okay.
And he like skated with like P Rod and those guys, and he was on DC before he it was DC before his career ended, and now he's into like real estate and a bunch of other investments, things like that. But
Okay.
I had him on a podcast yesterday, and that's dope because I would have never even thought of having a skater on because that wasn't my thing. That passion, it just wasn't awakened inside of me, and now it is. So I'm super excited for that.
Yeah. You're just got your fingers out in all kinds of different things, huh?
Just
You're
trying to have
feeling
fun,
out.
man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because I feel like Downstar's moving so well that I don't have to worry about, okay, how are we going to make rent the next week? What do we have to do? This product's not working, that the stuff is moving, everything's going. And what I'm doing is not totally separate from Downstar because I feel like the idea of Downstar is not about bolts or hardware. It's about the hustle and taking nothing and making it something. And if I can do that with the podcast or with the skate brand, it's all part of the umbrella of what Downstar represents.
Taking something and taking nothing and making it into something. Yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
Creating.
So the 19-year-old self, what did you think KStuned was going to turn into?
I just wanted to be and make the baddest shit, the fastest car. I just wanted to be the king of the world. That's all.
Yeah.
No, minor ambitions.
So that was your idea off the bat. I just want to be the best.
I guess, yeah. I just want to be, and so that's what led into, we wanted to build, I guess at the time, so yeah, you just want to build the fastest car. And so that was always the dream, is to build just the baddest, fastest, cleanest car. And so started, I did it with I did the H22 EG, and then ended up starting to build what became the KStuned Outlaw car with a buddy, and then that clearly wasn't going to work, so I just bought him out. Mm-hmm. And then it became our car, and then for 5 years we built that car, starting in 2005, and then debuted in 2010, and within within 4 months we put the car in the 8s, and that was a huge deal. This was back in 2010, so that was a huge deal for us. And then ran that car for the next 3 years through 2013, and at the time we were the third fastest class legal car out there. We were in the top 3, and still to this day, until just a few months ago, we were the fastest H22 powered car still, even from back in 2012. I think one guy's faster than us by like 100th of a second now, 7 years later. But yeah, so the 19-year-old self just was trying to prove to himself what he could do.
So was there any idea of pushing the business and making the business flourish, or the business was just a tool for you to accomplish the things that you wanted to do?
I didn't really think about it too much back then, we were just trying to do it all, trying to build a business and trying to build the car. And, and then it just evolved into kind of what it is. The whole time I'm learning, I'm trying things and trying to build, we're creating new products and meeting new people. And it's just like what we're all doing. So back then I didn't think about it too much.
So the first part that you made, the balance shaft
eliminator kit. Yeah.
So can you explain that a little more? 'Cause I'm not really familiar with that would even do.
Sure. So in an H22, there's 2 shafts in the block that are rotating at an opposite, at twice the speed of the crankshaft, and it eliminates kind of a harmonic vibration. But it's really for kind of like grandmas and grandpas. It's not really a performance thing. So anybody who's building a performance engine eliminates those shafts.
Yeah.
And so to eliminate those shafts, you need some billet components, some little plugs to plug the holes where they used to go and stuff. And so, that was our first product.
So when you came out with that product, did you notice that it was something that was going to stick around, or did it just sell small units?
What's so funny is those small units, and then all of a sudden one year I was like, man, there's only so many H22s, so it was about time for a re-up, where we're going to have to reorder to the machine shop. And I'm like, man, we've sold probably, there's probably not going to be any more. Probably everybody that could ever want to eliminate the balance shafts has already done it, This is probably fucking 2007 or 2008. And I almost didn't even reorder, and I was like, okay, let's reorder. And, and now we sell a few hundred kits a year still. It's a small, just kind of it runs through its standard product life cycle. It's gotten to its plateau, and it just does what it's going to do. But, that was over 10 years ago that I almost was going to stop making the product, and we still sell a few hundred of them a year. So
nice.
It's just funny. It's just funny.
So when you first started out, it was with the H, right?
Yes.
So what made your obsession with the H series?
Man, back then it was just it was the Honda Big Block. It was the K series of its time. This was before K series, and that's what Papadakis had in his car, and not a lot of people were. It was still kind of the not as commonly used as the B16 and the GSR. So yeah, I mean, we just started doing it, and we started doing H22 stuff, and then it's such a niche market that's what we do, and nobody fucks with us for it. Short of the pirate copycat. That shit is so pathetic, dude.
Let's dive into it. We're ready.
Oh my god. Okay,
I'm on the high dive right now.
These guys take my product, like my exact product, every contour, shape, fillet, everything. They don't change it. It's just that shit is embarrassing. Like, as a creative person, I can't even imagine taking someone's product and being like, "Hey, put my logo on this."
Yeah.
What the fuck? They don't change it at all. I don't know. And then they charge, some of them are like $10 less than ours. It's like, are you guys for real? And then if they have an issue or they're being manufactured in China out of low quality parts and materials, I don't know. It's just it seems really. First of all, it's embarrassing as far as you're running knockoff stuff, and then secondly, I would never risk my engine with crappy stuff. I just would never do it. So this is actually funny. So I'm in California just in April, just a few months ago, and we're down there for a race, and I'm in the line. We've got a couple Corvettes that are down there we're with, and we're in the tech line, and there's a couple Honda guys there. And so I go over and I start talking to him, and he's got a K-Series spray plate on his car. I was like, "Oh, hey, man, that's my..." And then I go, I was like, "Come on, man." I was like, "You got the knockoff spray plate."
Did you know it existed already?
Yeah, I did know that it existed.
Got you.
Yeah, so that wasn't the first time that I'd seen it, but like, it's exactly my thing.
Oh.
And so check this out. So they had forgot to plug. So you have to drill some holes when you machine that part. You have to drill some holes to allow the nitrous to inject, and then you have to plug those plugs. We use a press-in steel ball. It's called a conic plug. Anyways, this knockoff bunch of yahoos forgot to plug that hole. So when he fired it up, it's like, and first tried to spray the nitrous, he didn't notice, and so it's spraying nitrous out the side of this spray plate, and they ended up having to put JB Wells on the side of this thing.
No way.
And I'm like,
oh my god.
I couldn't help but laugh, and his buddy was like, "Man, I didn't even know that was a knockoff. I didn't know that yours was like that there was a real one and a fake one. He just saw that there was a nitrous plate and bought it."
Yeah.
So no ill will towards him or whatever, but his buddy was definitely giving him shit.
Oh wow, that's funny for the business owner to just come up and say, "Hey, that's a knockoff."
I mean, yeah, I went over to him to go, "Oh, hey man, that's my thing," and and then like talk to him about it, and then I realized that he was a knockoff, and I had to call him out on it.
Oh
for sure.
Shit, dude. So that was PLM who did that, right?
Who are those fucking guys? Yeah, PLM. Yep.
PLM. So PLM is notorious for knocking off or private labeling everybody's shit.
That's not private labeling.
That's what the company's called is PLM,
right.
Private label, some bullshit.
Manufacturing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But private labeling is where you work with me and we agree to put your logo on our part. That's private labeling. Ripping somebody's shit off is not private labeling. But the problem is, I always say like, "Hey man, that's why we can't have nice things." But it's directly impacted the way that we choose to make products moving forward. Like, I don't disagree. Like, the products that these guys are ripping off, like, this is a billet aluminum piece. This is not rocket science. It's very hard to make sure that it fits and that the fittings come out in the right place and that the angles are intersecting in the right way and that the diameter of the bores is correct and all that stuff. But once I do that, it's easy for them to knock it off.
Yeah.
So like it is easy to knock off. It is hard to develop. So, if that's a real reality where my parts are going to be getting ripped off, then that influences the decisions of products that we're going to decide to manufacture in the future. And so we don't make stuff that doesn't that's going to be easily knocked off, and we are actively seeking on developing products that have a wider use case, so they warrant IP protection, patents, copyrights, things like that. Because at the end of the day, a patent may cost $10,000, and if you're only going to sell $12,000 worth of product over the product's lifespan, that doesn't add up.
Yeah.
So, and even then, a patent only allows you the right to chase somebody down and then spend more money trying to get them to pay you for infringing. Really, it's just a barrier to, keeping people from doing it in the first place. But moving forward, a lot of our products are going to be not just billet aluminum stuff.
Yeah, I think that's
harder to develop.
That's definitely a real shame. And look, there's going to be people that are going to copy stuff all the time. One thing that I see is the lack of shame that people have in buying this shit. That's a very embarrassing thing. And how I always put it, right? I don't know if you're familiar with like the sneaker culture.
No.
Like, okay, so, Yeezys and Jordans and things like that, those super popular, right? If you were to go to a shoe convention with fake shoes, you would get laughed out of the building. It's embarrassing,
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not looked at the same way in the automotive community. I mean, if you're asking me, it's embarrassing. And if you can't afford it, save up till you can afford it. Save up till you can get the real thing. Even for the simple fact that this is the original part and it's not a knockoff from Alibaba. I don't know why people don't correlate the two in our industry. They just do you think it's a lack of pride or what could it be? Because I see this on a lot of people's cars that say that they have pride, but then they're supporting these companies that blatantly knock off people who are still in this industry developing and
trying to give back.
Yeah. And like you said, now you're thinking about products that you're going to develop, and even if you're going to develop them, so that's actually hurting the entire community.
And products that we otherwise maybe would have created don't get created.
Yeah. And there's only so many creatives in this industry.
I'm not going to make new things that are just going to get ripped off. And I'm not playing that game anymore. I'm queued up. I get what's going to happen. And so now that weighs in my decision to make new products or not, Yeah. So there's a lot of things that just got put on the back burner and aren't coming to the world because I'm not going to release. They don't warrant protection, and they are easily enough ripped off that it's going to happen, and I'm not playing. Anyways, it just makes it more specific and more thoughtful about what products I do create.
Yeah, it's a definite shame, man, and I wish that people in our industry would understand that a lot more. There was the company Dimes Performance. Are you familiar with them? They made the solid shifter bushings.
Okay.
Dimes Performance, there is M's JDM Motors. Matt, he from over here, he would just import parts and he would sell them like HMO or something like that. But he decided to develop the product for like a B series, D series shifter, is that it would be solid bushings instead of rubber bushings, and that wasn't in the market yet. And I think there was something, but you would have to cut something, or it was a lot more difficult. The way that he did it was a lot easier. And dude, that product lasted maybe 6 months before somebody knocked it off. And he doesn't make anything else besides shift knobs now, because what's the motivation? There's no motivation. The original product that he developed got knocked off by so many people in the industry, and there goes another creative out of the industry now that's not going to be making cool products anymore. So
for sure,
I just don't understand why people don't look at it in that way. I think they look at it in a very selfish way and just say, well, I don't care about any of that. I just want this and I want it now, without having any respect for what went into building it or the people, the brand that even built it.
I mean, I think it's pathetic for sure, but at the same time, it's reality. So we can complain about it, or we can use it as a data point moving forward. And so that's what we do. We use it as a data point and develop different products instead.
One of the things that we do, because our products are easily replicated, and there's already a lot of companies.
You do so good with your brand. Like that, Downstar bolts mean something to somebody because you give a fuck.
That's one thing that I was gonna say is 50% is the product, the other 50% is the branding of it. And I know people that have replaced competitors' products with ours because that company doesn't have the same meaning that Downstar has. And that's one thing that I can appreciate and I feel grateful for. And that's one thing that I work towards every single day is, they can have product that'll do the same thing that ours does, the same colors, it looks the same, but it's not ours. And if that sounds like a cocky thing, then it is what it is, bro. Like at the end of the day, I've been working for this for the last 10 years of my life to make hardware something besides that one will fit, put that one on. This has become something different, and I feel like I've earned the place that we are at right now. So that's kind of one way that we combat it, but I can definitely see that wanting to slow down the type of products that you're going to come out with or production or whatever.
We just change them, so any product that we're coming out with now takes that into account. And if it's going to be easily knocked off and we're not going to sell a lot of them, we don't make it. And that's just how it works. So we're working on, I'm working on this relay, and that's been, that's what we've been working on for the last almost 2 years, about a year since November of 2017.
So what's a breakdown on that?
So, right. Okay. Have you ever wired anything in a car?
Yeah.
Right. You used a relay.
Mm-hmm.
And are you familiar with pin 30, pin 85, 86, 87A?
Yeah.
Right. But you still, every time, can you tell me which one of those goes to the battery? Right. Wouldn't you just label it battery instead of 30?
Yeah.
My whole thing is just make the relay easier to use. And then our relays interconnect together like Legos. So as soon as you power up one relay, you can just interlock another relay. It's automatically powered up. And so now it cuts the wiring time in half to add additional devices. Every time that you go to wire something in your car, you're going to wire more than one thing. Like it starts with just a fan or a pump or a set of fog lights or something that requires a relay. And a year down the road, it's something else. So now you can just grab another Kaizen relay, interlock together. It's automatically powered up instead of having to run a new wire to the battery for this new relay, right? So it cuts the wiring time down. And then, like, you've got a BMW, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you were going to mount something aftermarket, some aftermarket device, some LED lights or, anything, right?
Yeah.
You're going to drill a hole and mount a button to switch this thing on or off. Like, you're not going to want to do that in your BMW.
No.
So what if we could just repurpose like your cruise control button to now also activate your aftermarket device?
No shit, like an interface.
Yeah, so it's a CAN. So all those buttons on your BMW and on any modern car are communicated over a CAN bus.
Uh-huh.
And so now we can use, and so is engine speed and, engine RPM, vehicle speed, everything comes over the CAN bus. We can listen to that CAN bus and trigger devices based on that information. So instead of having to drill holes and mount new buttons, you can just use your cruise control button. It can still be cruise control, but it can also now do your fog lights or your LED light bar or your radiator fan or, whatever other device. Or you can program the CAN module on our relay to use engine speed, coolant temperature, anything like that.
Shit.
Without adding extra sensors. Those sensors are already there.
Yeah.
They're already communicating all that information to other computers in the vehicle. You just listen to it, and then you use that information to turn on any device that you want. And we're patent pending for this device.
No shit, dude. That's fucking rad, bro.
And so it's going to be basically
Wow.
anytime that you would normally reach for a standard kind of old school relay, like the one that you've seen in forever, the little square box thing with the male prong sticking out of the bottom. You just reach for ours instead, and all of a sudden it makes future upgrades easier, and kind of the sky's the limit as far as using CAN data to trigger it. And so that's what we're in the SEMA Launchpad product launch competition for this product.
So if you were to hook it up to, say, the cruise control, would it be like a longer pulse or a double tap, or how would you distinguish from cruise on versus fan on or whatever?
Sure. So you could say anytime that you're pressing the brake and you press cruise control, use the relay. Or anytime that the vehicle speed is below 10 miles an hour and you press cruise control, don't activate cruise, activate the relay. Right? So you can use multiple inputs to do, to trigger the deal. And then cruise control can still work. So then you go driving, you got your fog lights on or whatever, and you can cruise control can still work. The whole point is you can just, people are like, I need to install a button or a switch for this new thing. If you look at your steering wheel, you've got 16 switches on there. You've got volume up and down.
Yeah.
You've got cruise. You've got all kinds of things. You've got mode or whatever. You could repurpose any of those buttons to activate your aftermarket device.
Now, would that be through a software, or how would you?
Yeah, so then you would just program it yourself, using software. Or our biggest thing, what we really want to do is we want to work with manufacturers who are supplying a relay in their product line already, right? Like a nitrous kit, for example.
Yeah.
And instead of supplying, your old school relay, you'd supply a Kaizen relay instead. And that relay could come pre-programmed already for a specific year, make, and model, and you'd just plug it in, and you'd already have your window switch activated or whatever. So,
oh, dude,
it makes it easy for the guy in the garage to, without having to do a bunch of wire splicing and running wires through the firewall and things like that.
So, to hook it up to a CAN bus, would it just be the one wire you just tap into, or?
Two wires, yep. And then you could plug it into the OBD2 port, or we could make, the manufacturer could provide a vehicle specific connector where you just jump, you'd unplug one connector and jumper it in between two other connectors and you're done.
Dude, that's
so
exciting.
there's a lot of opportunities for it for sure. Both for like geek level guys, and then just to make it, if it comes pre-programmed from a manufacturer and it just comes in your kit as, a relay that's, it's all weatherproof and stuff too. And, here's the biggest thing. It doesn't require any tools, so you don't have to have any crimpers or anything to hook it up. It's all spring type push-in connector. So you can just take a wire, feed it right in. It feeds through a weatherproof seal, and now you have a weatherproof relay. You didn't have to have any tools to install. So basically, it's better in every single way than a regular relay. We want to replace the automotive relay, period.
So how do you say that you would daisy chain them together if you wanted to add relays in the future? How would that work?
So, like, let's say here's one relay.
Okay.
Right? And here's another one. Now they're connected.
Okay.
And as soon as they're connected, it's powered up.
So where do you get so can I see the other end where the wires would go on the primary one?
Yeah, so those would go in here.
Okay.
And then they just connect. So this is an old 3D printed model from a few months ago. But yeah, you just feed the wiring in. And actually, if you really want to see, you should just probably go to our website and look.
So what's the website?
Kaizenspeed.com. It's KAIZEN speed.com.
Okay, perfect.
And we've got some info there. But yeah, I mean, moral of the story is if you spent all your time to wire one relay, you gave it power and ground, right? And then instead of now having to add power and ground to the second one, just click them together and it's automatically powered up.
Now, would you have to upgrade the wiring size for the power on the initial one if you're adding extra relays?
Yeah, unless the gauge of that wire was enough. So, for example, you could put a 10 gauge wire into that first one and run, multiple 20 amp. Yeah. And a radiator fan's like 20 amps. Fuel pumps 10 to 15 amps. Without getting too geeky, it just really takes adding additional devices to a car, making it really easy.
That's such a good idea. What made you come up with that?
Oh, man, every time I look in an engine bay and I see we've all experienced this. You go to a meet or you're looking at a car and what do you have? You got relays stuffed all over. You got this rat's nest of wiring coming down. So it happens because you installed one device and installed one relay, and then a few months later you needed another one, and pretty soon you've got 3 or 4 relays all just screwed onto the firewall or the fender or something. Mm-hmm. And each one of them requires wire splicing, and each relay requires 4 wires. In our deal, each subsequent relay only requires 2 wires because it gets power and ground by connecting to the first one.
Now, do you have any sort of bracket, mounting bracket for them, or how would they mount?
Yep. Yeah. So there's a mounting bracket that it clips into, and it's detachable from that. It's just a metal spring clip. So, yeah.
What about something nice and billet?
So it's just a cost thing.
Yeah.
Right? We can make billet all day long, and this can be a multiple $100 product. We're trying to replace the relay and make the relay better. Mm-hmm. So we're going to we have a stamped steel mounting clip. The same thing that it would normally come in a relay, except ours is easily detachable so that you can take it off, do any kind of testing and this and that. The other thing is, let's say you wire a relay and you want to check your wiring. Have you ever had your buddy hey, go flip the switch. I'm going to hear if the relay's clicking.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a test button on the relay, so you can just press the test button and see if your radiator fan kicks on.
Oh, wow.
That's just easy. Why would that not happen already, right? You've got the relay, so okay, you've done your wiring, just press this button, and does your device come on?
Yeah. Is that the final product, or you're still working on it?
Yeah, this is another 3D printed deal.
Got you.
So yeah. Anyways, and then you just kind of peel the wire, or this is an elastomer panel that the wiring will pass through. But yeah.
Dude, that's such a cool product, man. I really, really like that.
It's gonna be sick. I'm really excited for it, and we need your help for voting. So this episode's gonna come out on July 29th.
Yes,
and that's the day that the voting starts. So I'm gonna have the link on our Facebook page, and you have to vote. You have to have a Facebook profile to vote. That's how SEMA does the voting.
Gotcha.
So, man, if anybody is willing to check this out and vote for us, we would really appreciate it. What we're trying to do is make wiring simpler and easier and better for everyone. Because, look, if you've graduated from carburetors,
yeah,
and IROC Camaros, man, you've graduated from old school box relays.
Yeah, man. Guys, I would definitely recommend you to help out. This product is super cool, man. I being from the car audio industry, I could definitely see so many uses for this. And those relays, they were just like you said. It was just a rat's nest, a bunch of relays, and oh shit, I need to add another relay. So let me get another fork connector and stuff more wires in there and see how much I can stuff in there.
I'm telling you, we've all seen it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're part of the SEMA. We're one of 15 semifinalists. And then voting goes live today, July 29th, or the day that this podcast is being dropped. And then that narrows it down to 10 semifinalists. And then we'll be displaying at SEMA if you vote for us and we are one of the 10 semifinalists, then we'll be at SEMA displaying, and we'll be able to get a really good litmus test as far as the adoption of this product, because we're going to have to invest crazy in tooling for the plastic injection molds and the stamp tooling for the stamped steel parts. There's some electrical components inside that need to be custom formed, the bus bars.
Mm-hmm.
And so, anyways, we need to make sure to get a litmus test. SEMA is a great place for us to do that before we spend all our money and more money than we even have to take it to production.
It's exciting, man. It's definitely exciting. We'll definitely have the link below. And we also do have some t-shirts that you provided for a contest that when it comes up on this day, we're going to be running a contest, guys. So make sure that you check out both our Instagram and KStuned. So what Instagram would it be under?
So I'm gonna do it on both.
Okay, cool.
KStuned and Kaizenspeed.
And we'll tag both of them below, guys. So make sure you follow all of the Instagrams and just help them out with this, because this is something exciting, man. I haven't seen a product like that, and I think that that's really cool, and just on a creative level, that's awesome.
I'm really proud of it. I think it's gonna be sick. And when you come to SEMA, when I see you at SEMA, I'm gonna put it in your hand and you're gonna be able to see it. And as soon as you click two of them together, I guarantee you the light's gonna go off. You're gonna go, oh shit, that's so obvious. Like that's the way it should be. And that's the Kaizen relay is just, it's the way a relay should be.
So once again, you said the name stood for what?
So Kaizen is a Japanese philosophy of continuous improvement. Uh-huh. So what that basically means is every day, say you've done, you don't just get to say, I've achieved some level of success. You have to continuously try to improve your thing. And that can apply to every area of life, basically just don't settle. And I read about that. So when I was in college, and so when I was going to community college, I was reading The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Mm-hmm. And that's like my Bible. And that's where I learned about the philosophy of Kaizen. And when I was reading that book, I read that and I was like, man, that just really hits home. Like he was talking about this philosophy where you just continuously improve, and you just no matter what, there's always, you can be improving. And I just really liked that. And so I named my company after it.
That's dope, man. So do you do a lot of reading?
I do audiobooks. I like to listen to audiobooks while I'm driving. So yeah, I listen to, I use audible.com mm-hmm. and I just subscribe to audible.com. And so you get 1 credit every month for $16. So basically for $16 a month, I get, I'll go for a couple months where I don't buy a book and I'll say, oh crap, I got, 3 or 4 credits. So I'll just go in there and buy 3 or 4 books, with money, like with my credits that I've already paid for.
Yeah.
And then I have audiobooks and I listen to them while I'm driving, and I use that to learn.
So how long does a book usually take to listen to?
Maybe 3 hours to 12 hours.
Oh, okay.
Depending on how long the book is. Yeah.
Dude, I haven't even tried out audiobooks yet.
I do audiobooks. That's the way I read almost anything. I very rarely actually read books because I can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone,
Yeah, definitely.
I'm driving, and instead of just jamming out to, Tupac or whatever,
yeah,
I can try to better myself.
I got to look into that for sure.
Yeah. There's so many books. When you're ready for that, let me know. I'll hit you with a list of titles.
Yeah, definitely. I actually bought that book, the one that you were telling me about, but I just haven't had a chance to read it yet.
See, and that's the thing, right? You get a book, and maybe you touch base on it, you sit down to read it, but an audiobook is a good way for guys like you and me to kind of get a new buzz in our ear.
Yeah, because that's mostly the reason why I listen to podcasts, is to gain some sort of knowledge, whether it's about business or it's about current events or music or whatever it's about,
Yeah, I told you about Seth Godin, didn't I?
Yes,
yes. Yeah.
The Purple Cow.
Purple Cow. That's what you need in your life. You need to check out Purple Cow, but get the audiobook if you're not going to sit down and read the other one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you would love it. I think you would be really stoked.
I dove into it a little bit, but like I said, sometimes it's just hard to just sit down, and to be honest, for the simple fact that when I'm awake, there's always something going on. So I really don't get much time to just sit. I can find time to do something else, but time to just sit and read, it just seems like it's a little harder. And the only time that I really get to do that is late at night when everybody's asleep. And then you got to have like the phone with the light on and trying to read it. So, but there's sometimes some books I'll get into and I'll carry that book around with me wherever I go, and whenever I get a few minutes, I'll just stop and get a few pages. But it has to be something that I'm really interested in. Like, one of the last books that I read was the autobiography of Gucci Mane.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, dude, and that one's really good, man. I'm really into music and rap and hip hop and things like that, and I find it super interesting to see how these guys manage to get out of the conditions that they were born in, and the trials and tribulations that they go through, and then manage out to come out on the other end of things.
do you find any common threads?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Whether it's something that I can just understand why they felt like that, why they decided to make that decision, or if it's just a parallel thing that's happened to me in my past. But I really didn't have any run-ins with gangs or drugs or crime or anything like that. But I was sure around it, and I seen it happening, but it wasn't anything that I've personally dealt with myself. But it's always good to see like that hustler mentality and see these guys able to flip their situation into a career that I don't care what anybody says, man, that these guys, they're doing it, whether you respect what they're doing or not. They're on the forefront of like the whole culture of rap and hip hop, and I feel like rap hip hop is popular culture right now, and it wasn't back in the day.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, I can get that from anybody that I see that took something or took nothing and made it something. That's what really intrigues me a lot.
Yeah.
And
taking nothing and making it into something. Yeah, that's
definitely.
what I got you.
I just bought the book from, are you familiar with the brand The Hundreds?
Yeah.
So one of the co-founders, Bobby Hundreds, he just released a autobiography as well, and I'm going through that one, so I'm pretty stoked to finish that book, because with that I could tell a lot of parallels, you know, skating, rebelling, listening to like punk rock music, kind of being intrigued by that lifestyle and not really intrigued by the lifestyle that most people are, which is gangs, drugs, you know, violence, promiscuous sex, and things like that. You know, is more on a deeper kind of conscious level.
Right.
So taking it to music, what kind of music do you listen to?
Man, everything. So I'll have in one mix, I'll have Rancid, then I'll have Enya, then I'll have G-Eazy, and then Sarah McLachlan.
Oh, nice.
I don't give a fuck.
I love that.
I'm all of it, bro.
I love
all
that.
of it.
I have Jewel in mind for sure.
Like, you know, yeah. Like if somebody has a certain idea of me and they hear me listening to music, they're probably like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
But I don't care, man. I listen to all of it. But yeah, I mean, generally, I probably am just listening to. I really like G-Eazy a lot. I think G-Eazy is amazing.
So what makes you gravitate towards him?
I like his hustle for sure. I think he has a real musical talent for sure, and I think his lyrics are. I don't know. I just think he's got the combination of lyrics and musicality. Yeah. So as far as hip hop, I think G-Eazy's as good as it gets right now.
Got you. I haven't really dove into him much. Everything that I've listened to was just the mainstream radio stuff, and it was cool, but it was nothing that was really enticing to me.
Oh, okay.
But I have like a really kind of specific taste for rap and hip hop music. Right now I prefer like the loud hitting beats and the ignorant raps and things like that, the fun stuff, you know. But definitely I came from the Jay-Z, Nas, Wu-Tang. Like my style of music growing up was geared way more towards East Coast than it was West Coast, and that's a funny thing to say coming out of SoCal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was really familiar with lyrics and breakdowns and things like that. But I guess sometimes I just like to have fun, you know?
For sure.
Yeah. So music is definitely one of my big passions. And then probably around maybe high school time is when I really got into like rock as well. Rock, punk
Like
rock,
like who?
hardcore. Um, these are gonna be my top favorites. So one of them is Newfound Glory, other one is Census Fail, the Chiodos, and
Oh yeah.
I like Under Oath, Taking Back Sunday. But really, it goes all across the spectrum to some Zeppelin, you know, Van Halen,
Oh,
things like that.
Zeppelin is for real. That's the truth. And then Story of the Year. I
Yeah,
like them for hardcore.
yeah, definitely,
Yes.
man.
Story of the Year.
And one cool thing that's going on right now with like rap music, there's the genre of like SoundCloud rappers. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Like
So,
who?
the one of them that I'm really familiar with or I really like is Xavier Wolf. So Xavier Wolf, he comes out of that SoundCloud genre of music, and he's pretty much one of the biggest ones out. But there's other ones that have made it to mainstream, and he's not on that level yet.
Okay. I'll check them out. Have
Yeah.
you heard of Mercules?
No, I haven't.
Dude, you got to check out Mercules.
What kind of
He's
music
pretty
is
sick.
that?
So it's like kind of gritty hip hop. He's man, he tells one story about how he got jumped and how he's got a big old scar up his face where like somebody knifed him.
Oh
Like
shit!
up his face, and he's got a song about it. And you know that song Havana? Like
Yeah.
Havana, na na na,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
Check out YouTube. He remixed it and he killed it. And that's not on Spotify or anywhere mainstream, but it is on YouTube.
Yeah.
But that would be probably your introduction to Mercules. You should check him out, man. I think you would really dig him.
Definitely, I'll check that out. But what I was saying with the SoundCloud guys is they've managed to take the part of hardcore and punk rock, like the crowd participation, and put it over into hip hop or whatever you would want to call it, rap or hip hop. And it's so sick, bro. I'll go to these concerts and you feel like you're in a punk rock show, bro. The whole crowd is just moving, big mosh pits everywhere, and it's like the perfect mix of genres for me.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
For sure. I'm gonna check that out.
yeah, check them out. Another one. This one is my like probably all time favorite would be Little Peep. Have you heard of him before?
No.
Not Little Pump, Little Peep. There's
Little Peep.
Peep. Yeah, he actually passed away over a year ago from a drug overdose, which a lot of his music, that's you would have told that he was, or you would have known that he was headed down like a scary road, but it was from fentanyl. So I don't know if you're familiar with that. Is that what is like Xanax and a lot of other drugs are getting cut with fentanyl, and sometimes you don't know what you're gonna get, and you end up overdosing. And he was one of them, along with Mac Miller. That's how Mac Miller died as well, was from fentanyl.
Yeah.
But Little Peep, man, I think the way that his music is, his beat selection, and just the emo side, the emo lyrics, dude, that's like the perfect pot for what I would I would want to consume as far as music. But yeah, dude, it's sad, man. A lot of these kids, I don't think that they understand the consequences of the things that they're doing, and they're definitely living a lot faster than they should be, you know?
Yep.
It's hard, man. I know that there's a lot more pressure. Or well, let me ask you, how do you feel? Do you feel like there's a lot more pressure on the youth nowadays, or do you think that it just gets blown up through social media?
I just think it gets blown up. I think it's a lot better than everybody makes it out to be. You know, you only see the sensational stories because that's how that works, right? Like the algorithm literally only points to the ones that get the most traffic, and the ones that get the most traffic are the most sensational stories. The highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows, and you rarely see the 90% of the middle of the road, which is what's really going on. So everybody thinks that it's really, really, really terrible because that's what shows up. So no, I don't think that it's that bad, and I don't think that kids have it any rougher now than they had it before. I think I think that social media, or I think that plays a role in people's perspective of the world. Yeah. That's for sure. But at the end of the day, there's always been, it was TV's going to ruin the next generation, and then social media is going to ruin the next generation, and then it'll be the next thing and the next thing. And at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to not fuck up.
Yeah, no, definitely, man.
So
the way that I look at it,
you don't get to blame it on somebody else.
Yeah, the way I look at things is that you just have to deal with whatever the situation is at that time. So whether we're in the climate of social media, or if you disagree or agree with how things are going politically or whatever, you can only do so much complaining. But at the end of the day, this is the game that we have to play, and either you could keep complaining about it, or you could just deal with the cards that you have at hand.
You said it best yesterday in a post. You were talking about, hey, choose positivity. It's way better over here.
Yeah.
You have an option to choose, and start choosing glass half full.
Yeah, I always tell people that, man, like, a situation is what it is. Your car blew up. That's the situation. It's the car doesn't.
How you react to it.
That's on you. So whether you choose to react in a negative way or in a positive way, that changes you. But the situation is what it is, and maybe if you think about a positive situation or in a positive way, maybe you can affect the outcome of that down the line. But I think a lot of people really forget that it's the situations, they're not a certain thing. It's just either black or white. Somebody passed away, this happened, unfortunately, something went some sort of way, and you have to deal with the cards that you're dealt at this time now.
Yeah. It's so much. You can't change the situation necessarily, but you can change how you react to it. And then if you want to be able to influence the situation over time, like, focus on your circle of influence, the things that you can influence, and over time your circle will grow. Now, the things that you can influence will increase.
Now, speaking of circle, what does your circle look like? How many friends do you have in your circle? Is it a broad circle, or?
So I work all the time, and I like that. Mm-hmm. So everybody that I spend time with, besides my family, my wife and my son, are work related. So all the acquaintances, everybody that I have in my life, besides my family, is related to Kaizenspeed in some way. And I've been super lucky because I have a lot of really cool people that know about my world, and I get to know about their world, and my world totally revolves around cars. Just totally revolves around cars and business and making things. And yeah, so as far as my circle, they're just all Kaizenspeed related people.
So yeah, with your busy schedule and everything that you have going on, how are you able to balance a home life with business life?
I just go home at the end of the day. I've been doing it for a long time. I used to go harder than I go now as far as hours.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I know that, like, my family is hugely important to me. They are, I love being around them. I'm super lucky, man. When I met my wife, it was like a movie, like straight up out of a movie. Like, we got together and just clicked like that, and haven't spent any time apart ever since then. And that was 2008. You know,
Wow. Congratulations, man.
Man, it's just I'm so stoked on that. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's really good, and so I just we enjoy being around each other, and I have an 18-month-old son.
Nice.
And man, it's so fun, man. He's just jamming and getting into everything, and he's got such a personality, and I want way more. I want more. I'm working towards it. I enjoy the chase, but I couldn't be happier.
Dude, that's what it's all about, man. Congratulations, bro.
Thank you, sir.
So is that your first child?
Yes. Yep.
So before you had him and after, did you get that feeling that everybody talks about, that your life just changes?
Nope. I didn't. I knew we were going to have a kid. We actually used to say that was one of the things that brought me and my wife together, is we're never going to have kids, you know? And I was like, great. Finally, I found a girl that doesn't want to have kids just like me. Yeah. Game on, you know? And then we decided that we did want to have kids because, you know, we decided that we wanted to. And I knew it was going to be a change, but I've had dramatic changes. I have to roll with the punches. I'm a business owner. And so I just knew that it was going to require a change. And I just looked at it very matter-of-factly and knew that, okay, it's going to require a change. I'm going to have to dedicate time to this thing, to this change, to my son, to my family. And so I do.
So what were some of the biggest changes that you had to make?
Probably just making sure that I'm always there when I say I'm going to be there. So like you can't be super late. You're not allowed to forget anymore. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
So like you can't just off the cuff be like, oh yeah, cool, I'll be home by 7 and then show up at 9, you know, or 8 o'clock or whatever. 'Cause like, for example, my wife, she does like group fitness. She teaches at the gym after her regular job. And so she'll come home and she'll hang out with Atlas for a little bit, and then she has to go by 7:15. I got to be home by 7:15 on, you know, Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I got to be home at that time.
Yeah.
You know, so it can't be like 8 o'clock or something. So that's probably the biggest change, is just making sure that I follow through on all my commitments, you know? So it's just time to man up.
So before we get out of here, bro, I wanted to ask you one last thing. Have you ever seen any aliens?
You got your Alex Jones on right now, huh?
I've always been into it, bro. I've been getting into it a lot more, bro.
No.
Yes.
Dude, step away from the crazy, man.
You don't believe in aliens?
Oh, okay. Hang on. As vast as the universe is, of course there's aliens. It's so vast that there's this relationship between time and space. And so I've always thought, of course there's aliens. It's like infinitely large. Of course life happened on another planet, right? The question is just whether it happened in the same span of time and in any kind of close proximity to us, such that they could ever engage with us. Because let's say, for example, in the entire history of life on Earth, right?
Yeah.
Or excuse me, not even just life on Earth, but of the universe. So picture it as a human being with their hands spread out like this.
Yeah.
Right? So their hands are spread out like this. That's the entire length of time that the universe has existed. If you took a nail file and filed off the end of the nail, that's the entire human experience.
Yeah.
That's the amount of time.
Yeah.
So I guess, I believe aliens existed or exist at some point somewhere. I don't believe that they are actively within any kind of proximity to us, that whatever is going to happen. It's not going to be Independence Day. Have I seen an alien? No.
No. Have you seen a ghost?
Have you seen an alien?
No, I would love to. If anybody is listening right now, if you got a
that's an alien.
That means come kick it with me. Let's do a podcast. I would love to.
Oh my
But
god.
no, I
Okay,
haven't, dude.
have I seen a ghost?
Yeah,
Um. Okay. Full disclosure.
yeah.
My imagination is on another level. Okay.
Okay,
So
let's hear it.
I'm scared out of my fucking mind if I watch a horror movie and then I'm up in the middle of the night and I'm in my house and it's dark. Man, I'm fucking like looking at mirrors, thinking something's gonna come out of them. Like my imagination is just going like, what if this happened? My logical side is saying there is less than 0%, 0% chance that that's going to happen. My imaginative side, which runs the show, is like, what the fuck? What if that happened? And what if that happened? And what? So yeah. So no, I don't even do. Dude, I don't even do horror like commercials. If there's like a new horror movie commercial, I'm like fast forwarding or closing my eyes.
Shit.
No, dude, I don't do it. But at the same,
man.
yeah, no, dude, horror movies, fuck that.
Well,
my imagination is too wild.
You had to have some kind of experience then to have that strong of a feeling.
Oh man, just freaks me out.
You know what you need to do? You need to get hypnotized, bro, and they'll take you back to when you were 7 years old and you saw that alien or something.
See, now that's gonna fuck me up. That thought tonight. Maybe that did happen.
You never know, bro. You never know what's inside of that brain of yours, man. But Reid, dude, this was such a good conversation. I really, really appreciate your time.
Yeah, man. I this has been fun.
Hell yeah,
for sure.
dude.
I've been meaning to get together with you and just shoot the shit for a while, so this is perfect.
Ever since Do It for a Living.
Huh?
It was back in those times. So you said you're gonna do some episodes. You're gonna do it on that platform.
Yep. So do it for a living. We're gonna be releasing some new episodes in August. I'm shooting them. I'm gonna be recording them this month in July.
Sweet. Do you think that you would ever start another platform?
Definitely not.
No. Gotcha.
Not a new podcast. I'm still. It's a lot of work to start something up from scratch, and I'm still. Do It for a Living is a good platform, so I'll just use that one.
Is it on SoundCloud or iTunes?
Yeah, both.
Okay, sweet. Dope, man.
For sure.
So everybody listening right now, go ahead and give out your socials, and once again, if you can touch on the SEMA voting.
Yeah, please vote for the SEMA for Kaizenspeed. The product is the Kaizen Relay. There's a link, so just click the link, vote for us, and help us take. So yeah, man, vote.
There you go. Vote July 29th, guys. So we're definitely going to have the link below. Vote today.
Yes.
You got the papers, everything.
Baby, I need it. You know what? I want to blow this thing out of the water.
Oh, yeah, we will. Definitely, man. I'll help you out with posting that up. And like if you get started on the social media stuff right now, you can make a change by that time. If you start today. If you come up with a plan today, your Instagram will change.
I'm gonna make you proud, Frank.
Let's do it, bro.
I'm gonna make you proud. And hey, you know what? Like, if you want to taking something from nothing, this is the biggest, scariest thing I've ever done. Making this,
really,
because the investment to create the tooling for the plastic injection molds and create. This is the first time I've created a custom PCB. We're on our third revision of a custom printed circuit board. All the electronics inside are that's a new world to me. So this has been a huge learning experience. But like you said, Downstar represents taking nothing and turning it into something. And this is the biggest representation of that for me. So if you can help us take this to fruition and take this all the way through by voting, I would be grateful.
Definitely, guys. If you're listening right now, at the bottom in the description, it's going to have the link. Just go click that, take a couple minutes, and support a member of our community trying to do something, man. There's not that many people out there that are trying to push forward, so you got to support those people that are. But I wish you the best of luck. I'm going to do all that I can on my end to help out, and I don't see you not making it, man. I think this is going to be something good. So once again, guys, this is Downtime with Downstar, episode 85. Reid from Kaizenspeed, thank you, man. Any last words?
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate your time. I'm following you and I'm watching you, and I wish you the best.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. All right, guys. Have a good day. Peace.
Later.
Dope, dude. That was so
Right on,
good,
man.
man. Hell yeah.